realest podcast ever. The realest podcast ever.
Y'all's the hate on all of my moves, but now niggas on it. Y'all used to bait me on me and my views, but now niggas on it. I used to tell them I'ma have me a show, but now niggas on it. Her homies on it. Your homies on it. Y'all's the hate on all of my moves, but now niggas on it. Y'all used to bait me on me and my views, but now niggas on it. I used to tell them I'ma have me a show, but now niggas on it. Her homies on it. Your homies on it. The realest podcast ever. The realest podcast ever.
The realest podcast ever. The realest podcast ever.
The realest podcast.
Realest Podcast Ever, episode 171. I'm on point again. That's 2 shows in a row. Let's call it a streak.
Yeah, listen, the second you said it, I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know. You're going to throw something out there. Realest Podcast Ever, episode 171.
Be a lot going on.
I'm your host, C. Diddy.
I'm at the hostess with the most.
Reporting live from the Liquid Death Chick-fil-A studios.
Yeah, man.
Had to make sure everybody ate before we got started today, man.
Oh, yeah, it was very nice of you. Very nice of you.
Hey, man.
My Chick-fil-A points is through the roof fucking with y'all. Like, real shit.
I cash. I'm a nigga. I cash my shit in every
Yo,
time.
yo,
They say, yo, you want this iced tea for free? Yes, I do.
I am not a cash. I was invited the other day. She was like, you got $12. I'm like, let's just keep it there.
Let it ride.
Yeah, let it ride. I don't be cashing shit. I was just saying, I need to go cash the points from the credit card and shit. Like,
real quick, before we get into the show, Taylor, cue up the claps. It's Matthew's birthday.
Oh, well, thank you. My birthday was not today.
It was Saturday.
Saturday.
But it's your show birthday.
Yeah. It was lit,
Happy
man.
birthday, beloved.
Shout out to everybody from the show. You know, people, the Patreon was commenting.
Man, I was getting alerts like a motherfucker.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody. Motherfuckers was really cash at me, $39. Y'all are psychopaths. I really appreciate it.
Like Umar at home smoking that good weed. Can't believe they fell for this shit.
Yo, we got some together patrons.
Yes,
we got no sisters aunties.
Yeah.
This motherfucker.
Yeah, the top 400 is solid individuals.
Yeah.
The run over past the 400.
There was a couple of y'all that should have hit me on the cash app, but you know, we can get that up next time. You know, let's get it together next time. But birthday was lit, man. Like I said, a lot of people hit me, a lot of little gifts. I went to dinner on my birthday. You know where I went? Steak 48. Like a coon.
Yeah. How was it? What's the vibe in Steak 48 post $100 mandate?
I will not. And you remember how much I didn't like it the last time. I will not lie. It was A1.
It was phenomenal.
It was. Listen. I mean, like
rid of the riffraff.
It might have been like 5 black people in there, like including us. I was like, oh, this is nice.
This is fantastic. No, this is the way God intended.
This is 5-star dining. Funniest shit on earth, because you know we coming from King of Prussia, so you know you got to basically cross the planet.
Yeah.
And you don't realize how far, because you know I've been going to Eddie V's and shit so much because we up there.
Yeah.
You don't realize like, yo, it's really an hour to get to Center City on a Saturday night. You know what I'm saying?
Coming down 76. And now they got the new electronic signs that tell you the speed limit. Motherfuckers is following that speed limit.
76 is fucked up. So it's like, yo, get off and take the drive. So we like, all right, cool, get off, take the drive. I'm glad we did, because I got to see the greatest, most niggerific shit of my life. So we coming in, we going to the restaurant 8 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? You coming down the drive 6:30, 7 o'clock. You know everybody's out at the drive and shit. Yeah. Come around the drive, you come around the art museum, niggas was on the Rocky Steps with a hookah. I'm like, wow. I'm like, this city is lawless. At this point, anything goes.
It's Gotham.
It's Gotham.
It's Gotham City for real.
Dog. They had the Ozzy Wright hookah out there at fucking Rocky Steps, dog. The Chuck Norris joint, the sidekicks joint. The big ass joint.
The Three Ninjas tournament trophy.
You ever see the competitions when they be like jumping in the air to kick the bricks in they like one of them hookahs. Like they had the big ass hookah out at the Rocky Steps, and I'm just like, wow. Like we have really, really crossed over into Armageddon, yo.
This is a strange place.
It's a strange place. But we went to Steak 48. Like I said, we came in, went right to our seat. The first seat they tried to give us was in the dark room. I don't really like that. The first room off to the right.
Okay.
I don't like the dark light in my eye. My eyes before. So I was like, we need something a little bit more lit than this.
In the other room by the bar.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
That's my spot.
So we over in that joint. Our waiter was excellent. Drinks came immediately. I had a 18 ounce bone-in one of the best steaks I've had in a long time.
Nice.
Like came out piping hot. Shit was cooked perfectly. I get the medium plus. It was perfect. The broccoli, I went full nigga with the mac and cheese with the shrimp and the crab meat, sweet potatoes. It was lit. The little birthday cake thing was good as shit. Yeah. And like I said, we got the gift card, so it was like, you know, it was about nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I will say valet is a bit ridiculous with how much.
Listen, I told you they lost my car.
My thing is valet at this point in life, like you remember at one point in life, valet. You remember going like Royal Valet? That was like the big joint. Yeah, that shit was $18. Yeah. Valet now is $35. Yeah, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah, and nobody here makes $35 an hour.
Yeah,
so why is it $35 a park my car?
Plus tip. I'm like, man, listen. And you know they supposed to take the cars to the left to the what's the joint with the pool?
The Bellevue.
That's where they was parking the shit at. Yeah. We come out the valet. I put the shit in the phone. Main man was coming from this side down. I seen him go past me.
They parked there. I found out where their overrun lot is at. Remember FIZO on 15th and South? It's there.
Okay.
It's there because it's a club there, room service, and somebody I know that worked there was telling me like, yeah, I had to pay to park in the parking lot in order to go to work. Because Steak 48 has the parking lot.
But when I saw him coming this way down Broad Street, I'm like, oh yeah, that nigga definitely would to go grab some loud or something like that.
He took a joy ride.
Yeah. And she was like, no, people. I'm like, yo, look, true story. Years ago, my mother, she had took her. Tell you how long it was the Corsica. She took the This was the early with the emergency. Yeah. She took the Corsica to remember Rothrock on Springfield, Baltimore, right? And my mom was a real stickler for like numbers, so she would write all that shit down. She wrote her mileage down. Took her car in for service, came back to pick it up. The car had 113 miles.
Oh, they definitely went
on the car.
Definitely went to Baltimore.
And she was just like, "Yo, how?" Like she's like, "I give you 3 miles, maybe even 6." Yeah. Like, but 113, something's not adding up.
The car was the errand runner car.
Dude who worked there took the car to New York. They found that shit. Yeah, and I'm like, yo, you's a wild nigga. Like, cause what if you bang out? What if the reason this car is here for service act up and you're like
the engine blow or
you
the fucking
crazy
axle crack or
as
some
shit. You like, man, look, man, boy got the pounds allowed for cheap. Told me tonight I gotta get to the BX.
The reasonable doubt lessons if I'm not in my car.
All my uptown niggas, Linux 7, baby. I'm like, that nigga went to New York.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But yeah, the meal was absolutely excellent. A lot of people was like, "Oh, what you doing afterwards?" And I'm like, "I'm going in the house. Yeah, y'all are running amok out here in the streets."
Listen, man, I had a tweet probably like 2 months ago, and I said, people who still go out in the city of Philadelphia, why do y'all want to die so much?
Listen,
and at the time, people was like, "No, because we go here and there," and I'm just like, "Do y'all not watch the news? Yeah. Do y'all not have like?" CNN app, our shit make national news every day. We not have the CNN app.
We made them jokes last week about Steve Kelly. I saw him this morning. Though he looks exhausted. He ain't been to sleep since last episode.
80 hours.
He ain't been to sleep since we last recorded. Like Steve Kelly don't take a break. And it was I woke up this morning and I'm reading I see the news shit and I'm like, it's no way I'm reading this shit right. Yeah. Niggas, Hellcat and Charger niggas took over Broad Street last night.
Yeah, in front of City Hall.
That wasn't the top story. I'm like, yo, this city is crazy as shit. Like, that wasn't the headline. Because a nigga ran up in Jefferson last night.
Killed this coworker, right?
In Jefferson, dog.
And then had a Mexican standoff with 2 cops in Sharon Hill, shot 2 cops, and then they apprehended him.
Oh, wait, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Dog. They didn't happen early today?
They didn't catch him there.
No, you know what the getaway car was? A U-Haul.
Wow.
The small joint where you can't slide the seat back. The GMC joint.
Listen, I saw that shit. I said, these niggas been watching way too much Raising Kanan. Like, y'all are bugging. Niggas went in the hospital and hit something.
Dog, in the spittle. I'm like, yeah, and I'm so glad because I do the 9 on the morning, and that comes up, go down Chestnut, come up Walnut. I'm like, I know on the street is a mess today.
This is why they have metal detectors at Einstein and
I remember years ago going into like no bullshit, going into Penn, and that you gotta go through the metal detector, and I'm like, this is a hospital.
Now you understand?
Yeah. You remember the comedian? Yeah.
Shot the bitch ass nigga in the foot.
Yeah. I had to do my duty. you remember the comedian nigga Hamburger?
Yes.
Hamburger. He's like, yeah, my mother told me I need to go to church. I'm like, I'm gonna go to church. I go to church. I come up in the lobby of the church. I step in. I see a ATM in the church. I'm like, Hamburger, y'all got an ATM in the church? Like, what are y'all doing here? He's like, I take a couple more steps. They using metal detectors. I'm like, come on, man, y'all having weapons problems in the church? Usher said, no, pastor don't want nobody breaking changes in the church. Hamburger. Like, yo, when you see metal detectors in places, like, you're like, wait, what the fuck is? I remember when I was in high school, they started using them. They didn't have that. Like 9th and 10th grade. Our 11th grade year, you couldn't, because you used to be able to come in schools all different doors.
Yeah.
I went to Saw. You could come in the front door, side door, back door, the basement, all the doors used to just be open.
Yeah.
Now you literally, you gotta go through, then you had to go through the map. There was only one door, and now you can't even walk into a school.
Yeah.
I was doing a school tripper 2 years ago for, the SEPTA buses be at the school when the school get out. I'm full uniform. I opened the middle door to step. I'm like, I gotta use the bathroom. The NTA, assistant principal, they all came. Well, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just going to the bathroom. He's like, yeah, you gotta come to the office and get a pass. Don't just walk in. Dog. Like, because we just in a different space now where it's like it's not as laxed as it once was.
I remember when Central got metal detectors and they literally got one metal detector.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they had one jaw and they would lock the side doors and everybody to come in through the front. But we didn't have like a lot of NTAs and security and all shit. It's Central. So you could literally, you come in or whatever, boom, you straight, you go open the side door, let your homie in.
Right.
With the gap.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool. But you're not really having them problems at nicer magnet high school.
Where we at now is just like lawlessness. They said on the Joan, we had our 3rd straight day of 4 murders. Yeah. Think about it. When we recorded last week, we was at 400. We had just hit 400. We had 421.
Damn.
Yeah. Like rattling off a dub a week is crazy.
That's a lot of nuts, yo.
That's bonkers. Like we've really hit a point where it's just like I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Cause it's like I told you, seeing that Joan where it's like y'all doing all that crazy shit in the streets with the cars. They done took over City Hall. I'm like, I know that shit was hell, traffic wise and all that crazy shit. And that's not the big breaking news story of the day because some old other shit. Okay, cool. 12. But yeah, man, it just I don't even know what to say. No, you from Philly, right?
I didn't grow up in Philly. Nah, I did not grow up in Philly. I grew up in Jersey.
Oh, okay. Well, let's introduce.
I've been living in Philly for about 12 years.
Okay, so you down?
You assimilated.
Yeah, you assimilated. Yeah.
So the third voice that you hear today, it's not Big Dan, it's not Pastor Carl, it's not any of our normal normal people. I put it on Twitter a couple weeks ago. I say, yo, if I could get anybody on the show right now, my #1 goal for TRPE is to get this individual on the show. He literally goes viral every other day for something political based.
Listen, I ain't gonna hold you.
That he said
that motherfucking electric slide shit. I don't know how I missed that when it happened. I see this shit the other day. I'm like, yo, this is the most terrible video I've ever seen in my life. Dog.
Twitter aficionado, music aficionado, political commentary specialist, Mr. Cura Hip Hop.
Appreciate that intro. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
We appreciate you joining us on the show, man.
Having a great time already.
You have a unique perspective on a lot of different things. I don't want to necessarily call you like a black conservative or a black Republican. Because we've been following each other on Twitter forever, through all my different accounts and shit like that.
Right.
So I know, like most people, on some issues you lean more left, some issues you lean right. You have a balanced perspective on a lot of things. And what I particularly like about you is you will hold black people accountable in a lot of different ways that others just like let us slip and duck the accountability.
Real quick. You know what I just thought about when you said you been with me through all my pages? You really are like the Puff of Twitter. Like you really have like changed like how Puff just showed up like, yeah, I'm love. Like nigga, you was a menace for 15 years.
You was hate. You beat J. Cole up.
Yo.
There was the C Diddy Run the City page, then there was just _C Diddy, then that lasted for a while. Then there was This Ain't Me. Then there was
Yeah, that was a good one.
that was a good page. It didn't last long. But
That was a good one.
That was a good one. This ain't me. Then there was the original TRPE page.
Yeah.
Once I got kicked off to This Ain't Me, which is TRPE 2017.
Right.
Then there was, I think, was there another TRPE page before this one? I think this is my 5th account. I think this is the last one. Yeah, then now official TRPE. And I be telling people like, no, that ain't me. Like, I know it's you. I know how. I'm like, all right, well, maybe it was.
Yeah. I didn't, as much as I hate Matt makes me sick, it's the only one that, you know what I'm saying? I had Gorgeous Matt. That didn't go anywhere. I didn't get
Matt World Peace.
It was Matt World Peace. That was a good page. I remember Gorgeous Matt. When I would say something that would be funny, Mitch would text me laughing because he's like, I'm not adding Gorgeous Matt. I refuse. And I remember I had the real Big Matt. That was my first jump. Yeah, I remember my dad seen it, was like, is there a fake one running? We're like, what? I was like, I don't know.
Foreshadowing, there ended up being some fake Matts later.
Ain't that crazy as shit? Yeah, but when I first got on Twitter, Instagram, remember everybody was the real this, the real that? Yeah.
The real Big Matt.
Yeah, that was a good time, but yeah.
So follow this gentleman on Twitter at Cure Hip Hop. It's a balance of music commentary, social commentary, political stuff, vaccine mandates and ridiculousness and all that. We're going to get into all of that shit. But
Indeed.
Starting off, I don't want it to be like a super structured show because you my guy, we know each other, so we just going to talk.
Right.
But kind of give people like the audience, we got a global audience, give people your background and just kind of like how you became
how you got to where you
how you got to this figure on social media.
Social media wise, I don't even know how I got to be this figure. You know, I think I got tweeted by like Trump Jr.
Oh,
he like
shit.
retweeted one of my tweets and it got big, it went viral. And then, you know what I mean? Then all these conservatives.
That's the wildest.
Right. Like I got retweeted by Trump Jr. I got retweeted by this conservative commentator named Mike Cernovich, white guy. He's got a bunch of followers. He's written a bunch of books and shit like that. So.
Yeah.
And from there, it's just been like every time I tweet, you know, a bunch of conservative people chime in, they retweet my shit. My shit gets spread all throughout like Trump Twitter. And then I get the hate from Black Twitter from the people that follow me. I get hate DMs, people telling me to shut the fuck up and all this shit. So I feel like the hate is what makes my account get bigger.
Yes,
The more haters I have, the more followers I end up.
I say it all the time, the Howard Stern private parts.
Yeah.
Shit,
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's a wild. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, the Trump Jr. threw me
Yeah,
off.
you know, Trump Jr.
I got retweeted by Trump Jr. I don't know.
You know, normally it's, I know Meek retweeted me, so you know, like you're not expecting her Trump Jr. Yeah, now we live.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
So for the people listening, would you identify as like a Black conservative or a Black Republican if you had to like pigeonhole yourself that way?
Definitely not a Black Republican. You know, I've never been to like one political action meeting or, you know what I mean? I'm not a registered Republican. I don't even fuck with Republicans. I like Donald Trump, and you know what I mean? But I wouldn't consider myself a Black Republican for sure, no. Conservative, yeah, I have some conservative beliefs. You know, I grew up in a 2-parent household, Christian family, you know, so I have a lot of conservative beliefs about how I feel like what's best for the Black community. But I would still even wouldn't consider myself a true conservative.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
I literally, we talked about that last week. Like at this point, just going straight down the board on anything doesn't make much sense.
Right.
Yeah, because
that 2-party politics shit is dead. Like at the end of the day, people have to be willing to. And let's have a conversation now because we're on a bigger show. People have to be willing to really dig into the policies and the actual politics of people and identify what aligns with them, what's going to do the best for their individual situation, what's going to do best for their communal situation, and consider it from there and not just go off of like symbolism and just pandering and just random nonsense that's like, you know, being lobbed to specifically the Black community, but that's being lobbed to you, you know, as a potential voter and part of somebody's constituency.
Yeah.
What about Trump specifically, like, connected for you compared to like other quote unquote politicians in the past?
You know, I like Trump before he was a politician.
We all
I like
dog. We literally was the Patreon from last week is like so on par with what we're, because it's like, yo, Trump was the most beloved figure by hip hop culture. Before he was a politician, motherfuckers in front if they want, they were Trump fans. We literally broke down all the songs. Niggas had songs called Trump.
Right.
Yeah, Jeezy and Birdman had a song called Trump. Like,
Right.
So it amazed me at how fast it kind of flipped and changed. And I don't necessarily think he changed. Like, I think this is just who he's been.
It's who he's always been. He's always been the not politically correct person, the person that's going to say what's on his mind, the person that's going to say what's true, no matter how much he offends anybody. And I respected that, especially, you know, as black people, we have a lot of views that, you know, we may say something that offends people, but we just keeping it real, you know?
Yeah.
That I could resonate with that, you know?
Yeah, like you look at all of his nonsense with what was you fired? What was that show called?
The Apprentice.
Apprentice. He was the biggest thing in like reality television. He was at wrestling, like Stone Cold Thunderman. Like he was at wrestling events. He was in Home Alone 2.
Right.
Like that nigga owned the plaza.
Doing everything.
Like, yeah, so it is wild at how it all flipped, you know, once the politic thing came into play, because Trump was legitimately beloved by hip hop culture.
Right.
All the fights and Mike Tyson shit, like you could just run down the line of just how much stuff he had going on.
Yeah, he was fully ingratiated in the black culture.
In every culture.
Yeah.
Like pop culture, because hip hop culture is pop culture. Like real talk. But what was I about to say? Oh, you didn't even say what connected you personally with the whole situation
With Trump? You know, when he first came down the elevator and he gave his first speech as to what he was going to do, like his plans on, you know, changing the country and what was his Make America Great Again and all that. What connected me to what he was saying was, you know, he had a plan and he was saying he was going to build a wall. And everybody was like, that's fucking retarded. You know, that's a stupid ass idea. And then when I thought about it, and I was like, it's a whole lot of, you know, I don't know if y'all are familiar with like global politics and like globalism and like one world order. And, you know, I'm kind of against that shit. Like, I think America should be America and not the entire globe as one government. And every other politician is kind of pushing towards, you know, the one world government type shit. While Trump was not pushing towards the one world government shit. He was pushing towards American sovereignty. You know, we're going to put up a wall. You know, we're going to control immigration, and we're going to be America. We're going to do what we do, and we're not going to worry about pressure from other countries to, you know, spend money on the climate and all this other shit.
The theory of what he was on, the wall was stupid. The wall didn't make it. The wall was dumb as shit. But the theory of what he was on was I can understand it.
Right.
The wall in itself, like the physical wall, was moronic because niggas jump fences.
The funniest part about the wall was people, the videos of people jumping over.
It was the symbology of the wall for me.
It was it was like reserve training. They was just hopping the wall at leisure.
Right.
So the wall itself was just dumb, and it was like, yeah, we got this wall, but it ends over there, so you can just walk down. You can just go around. So the wall was stupid, but in a weird way though, I can understand why other politicians be on that type time of like one nation type, because nobody's really from America. Like everybody kind of just like showed up here, whatever way you showed up here. But that's the whole melting pot, Ellis Island, all that bullshit. So it's like, yeah, I understand it in theory. But like we talked about, Americans don't even want to be Americans. Like Americans want to get the fuck out of here. Like, so
I think Americans were fed the propaganda for a long time, just about like, you know, it's the greatest nation on earth, and because of the liberties and all that. But the more we see, politics wise, the more that our civil liberties are being infringed upon.
Right.
And I honestly feel like during Trump, it kind of like relaxed
a
lot. And people were allowed to make money. People were allowed to get money. There was fucking tax cuts available to everybody. Right. People saw, you know, more money than they've probably ever seen in the last 15, 20 years or something like that.
I was gonna say lifetime, but
on a consistent basis.
Right.
And then, you know, for me, the response to COVID was slow because they was in that political cycle and they didn't want to disturb that. But once they did, the financial response to me was far and away way beyond anybody's expectations.
Right.
Nobody can say that they foresaw like they're going to inject $3 trillion into the economy, direct payments to consumers. Like nobody saw that happening.
Right.
People thought that they was going to let the economy falter. Boom, the business is going to get bailouts and wasn't nothing going to go back to the American people. Right. But motherfuckers got a lot of money. People got PUA, PPP, EIDL,
for sure,
ECW,
NWO, like everything in the book. People got paid.
I said it. This motherfucking past year and a half, you watch niggas get PUA money weekly. Niggas got PPP loans, ECW championships. Like, motherfuckers got every fucking thing you could think
There was
of.
so much money out there that large corporations like the Lakers and Ruth Chris was like, oh damn, getting caught with they hands.
Right,
right.
Like, oh damn, I can't take this $3 million. Oh shit, I'm gonna shoot that back to you. My bad.
They looking at the paper like, are these the Lakers of Los Angeles? They asked for $8 million.
Oh,
They
damn,
like,
gonna
no,
shoot that back.
we got to buy out Jared Dudley, so we need a little $8 million, man. Like, dog, the Lakers really tried to get $8 million in PPP loans. Like, yo, the Lakers crazy as shit. Y'all niggas $100 million over the fucking salary cap. Dog.
I mean, we need the help. It's available.
Ruth Chris dead ass did. There was a couple big Jones that did that
They
shit.
was getting caught with their hand in the cookie.
Yeah.
That just shows you how much money, was available or whatever the case may be.
Did you see the Tom Brady that got $900,000 for his business?
for TB12.
Yeah, and then he bought a boat the next day, and it was like, no, I won the Super Bowl. You know,
That's a separate joint.
Yeah, that's a separate John. That ain't my John. Yo, motherfuckers dead ass. Like, it's crazy because I was looking at the thing the other day where it was talking about like people who actually got in trouble for that shit.
Right.
And there were people who were legitimately getting like real businesses.
Yeah.
Like people who had like real on the docket businesses. And it's like, yo, if for the last 2 years your business made $400,000, why do you need a $2 million PPP loan?
People wanted the ball. They wanted the ball.
And then show up 2 weeks later with a Lamborghini. It's like,
want the ball.
dog, you ain't even take
Like,
us.
oh, this is a coincidence.
It's just- you never heard of a birthday? Like, dog.
Saving up for this Lambo.
Yeah. Everybody was tweaking off over this
Everybody
last
want the
18
ball.
months. Yeah, it was crazy. So the money aspect of it is definitely the way he handled COVID. I'll be honest with you, because even me, I don't necessarily think people were really taking it serious until it was like, oh shit, I actually know somebody with this shit.
Yeah.
I actually know somebody who's, and you would see people, they'd be like, oh, partying. They'd be like, we hootenannies and barns and everywhere else. Then you see them, they got COVID and they posted a video, yo, it's real, y'all. Like, take
Pray for me.
It's real, yeah.
I remember being in clubs and bars like January, February of 19. Was that 19 or 20? It was 20.
During COVID?
Right before COVID.
Oh no, COVID started in February of 20.
Okay, so like
I can remember where I was at the night when I realized like, oh, this
what
shit is
started
real.
here. It was already going on in China. So
Yeah.
the news started to break January, February, and I'm sitting there talking to people, and I remember the conversations progressing, and I'm like, no, like we about to be fucked up. Like they like, yo, they saying like, yo, this shit can travel through like garments and clothes and from how all of our stuff comes from
in the
China
air.
and the Middle East and Malaysia and all
Right.
this shit. Like we're about to be fucked up. They're like, no, you think so? No, we're gonna be cool. Literally, the second week of March, they shut everything down, and I'm like, I'm calling people like, I told you, like. Because nobody was paying attention to it, and the news was there. The precedent was already set that like this shit is going to get way badder before it gets it gets better, and just nobody was prepared. As far as Americans go, really anybody. But like once you started to see it migrate from Asia to the Middle East to Italy and Europe and all of that, I'm just like, all right, we gonna have to deal with this one way or another. So the one thing that I do fault Trump for was the response to COVID. But everything else, I'm honestly looking back, I'm like, I'm cool with everything else because the ending response to it was people got paid. We had to shut some games down, rearrange some different things like that. But ultimately, the economy got back to performing, and it was still in a fair manner where gas isn't through the roof. People was able to fucking buy homes and buy cars for the fucking first time. Things like that. People was able to get out their dreams because of this money that was being, flushed through the economy.
I'm about to say February 25th. That was the night that because we was in the gym. The Mavericks were getting ready to play I want to say the
Phoenix Suns.
No, the Thunder.
Thunder. Okay.
They were getting ready to play, and as they were getting ready to, they came out, but then they made everybody go back in, and they was like, tonight's game had been called. Remember, Mark Cuban was like looking at his phone and shit, like, what the fuck? Like they called the game, and it was like, wait, they stopping the game because they was like, yeah, the coronavirus or some shit, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? We were in the gym and I was looking up at the TV like, what the fuck? And then that night, the next night was when Rudy Gobert did all the mic shit.
Yeah.
And it was like, Rudy Gobert started over. Yeah, that's how this shit. But I remember we was in the gym and I was like, what the fuck does they mean? They calling the game. Little did you know that was the last shit they was doing basketball. And it's like, yeah, like nobody really thought it was like, remember motherfuckers was like, oh, it's gonna be a couple weeks. Remember when me and Rob was like,
spread.
Yo, me, him, and Rob was the only ones that was like, no, this shit gonna be 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Cause nobody really took it serious. And I think Trump, you know, they all like, man, listen, even like now.
I got an election to win.
Huh?
Right. Trump was like, I got an election to win. I ain't worried about this.
Even now, you know, like I said, I don't live in Philly. So it's like, I be forgetting how, you know, out KOP, you don't need a mask for nothing.
Yeah.
So you come down to Philadelphia and it's like, yo, you got your mask. You put that on. And you like, oh shit.
They
like,
handing you a mask with tongs and shit. Here you go.
We went in to the Steak 48 the other night. It was like, you need your mask on in the lobby. I'm like,
I'm about to sit down and eat.
Yeah.
Just to go to my table and take the mask off.
About to put my Make America Great hat going on. Like, man, listen. Like, cause you know, in certain, and that was the part with me that kind of like was making me not wanna, cause it's like, you gotta wear a mask here, stay 6 feet apart here. But if you go over to the next county,
right.
You know, like you can do
worried about it.
Right. So it was like that shit just it fucked people up essentially.
Without a
So it's
doubt.
like you don't know what to believe. So a lot of back and forth with that.
What are your let me ask you this. What are your overall feelings on like the government's response to COVID, the Republicans and the Democrats?
I think it was shitty all around. You know, from the Democrats, you know, I feel like the best response was really to let the people do them. Let the people have their freedom, you know what I mean? The people that felt sick, you know, if you felt like you had a ailment where you shouldn't be out in the streets, and you stay your ass home, you know what I mean? And you get your POA check, you know what I mean? But if you want to work, you should be able to go to work. You should be able to open your business, you know what I mean? Take precautions, but shutting everything down I think it was just a horrible move, you know what I mean? And especially in cities where people are relying on their jobs to, you know, to feed their families and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah. I'm on the opposite end.
I just kind of think like the overall thing of like shutting I didn't have a problem with the shutdown. I just feel like they didn't have a plan for the shutdown.
I didn't do any work for 40 days. And
you loved it?
I enjoyed it. And 76 was wide open. I got no complaints about the shutdown at all. They definitely didn't have a plan. It was just, we shutting it down. We don't really know.
Right. They had gotten to a point where they was doing like, it was like week to week. It was just like, all right, well, maybe this day. No, definitely not this day. Like,
yeah.
Like, all right, maybe this day, 3 weeks from now. Definitely not that day.
Maybe July 8th.
Maybe July. We gonna go meet with all of the governors from the 8 states in the Mid-Atlantic.
After Memorial Day, y'all cool.
Right.
We'll get you out before Labor Day. Then like the first couple days of a July, June, it's like,
it's still not good enough.
Give us till Labor Day, into August, we got y'all.
Yeah, they were just buying time.
Labor Day came and was like, look, man, y'all, it's getting cold. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can just stay it. Yeah, there definitely wasn't a plan. But again, you got to remember, America's not small. You talking about like these other, and that's the joint I think people miss. Like you look at like Italy and New Zealand and all these places. It's like, bro, it's 330 million people in America. So it's like, there's no way on earth you could just put out, this is what we're gonna do, and everybody just fall in line.
Absolutely
like,
not.
You see in Italy and India, you was getting hit.
You cross shit in America. You could cross county lines. You cross township lines, and people feel differently than the people on the other side of the township. So trying to enact something that universally represents everybody was never going to work.
I just found out the other day what county I live in. Did you know?
I thought it was Montgomery County.
We're Montgomery County. Yeah. I just missed this. So realizing the difference in your gun permit from Philadelphia County to Montgomery County, like that shit changes all throughout the counties. What you got to do to deal with. And then as you go through different states, it's whole different ball games. Like, you know, in Delaware to get a gun permit, you got to like take out an ad in the newspaper.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like it's nuts. So it's like, you're never gonna get one thing where everybody just falls in fucking line, just cause that's not the way America's designed. That's not the way it comes when it goes to school district taxes, none of that shit. So to think that we were just gonna put this out and it'd be like, this what we doing, and everybody just like, oh, bet, all right, cool, yeah, no, that's what we on. That's unrealistic.
No.
So it's like, yeah, you was gonna have detractors all the way around, no matter what. Really, if they kept it open, people was gonna be like, why people are dying? Da-da. Me personally, how do you feel that all of the things that they did with pumping the money into the economy, how do you think that's gonna affect us going forward, like 5 to 10 years from now?
Oh shit, 1 to 2 years from now, it's gonna be bad. You look at the inflation, you look at the gas prices, just
Like,
the overall
literally,
quality of life.
I think
you
we've
look
gone
at
past
real estate prices.
I think we've gone past, not to cut you off, I think we've gone past like even hyperinflation. This is
Right.
like super inflation.
Right. I mean, well, hyperinflation is when like it's day to day, like shit that you could buy yesterday, you can't buy today. Like, you know what I mean? But it's getting there.
Yeah.
It's getting there very
I
quick.
personally don't even understand how it's continuing. Like, how are prices on things going up to where we're constantly like on some fat shit? You know, there ain't no Pop'ems right now. The Glazed Jones, they just not around. Like, Minimum's like, yo, we fucked up. Look at that in the game. Like,
universally in all industries, there's a everything shortage. There's a shortage in everything going on right now. So it's a shortage in like factory workers.
Dog.
Due to COVID, you know what I mean? They can't produce as much as they used to be able to. There's a shortage in truckers, so they can't deliver as fast as they used to deliver. They can't deliver it on time like they used to.
I go into the store the other day because I like the sugar-free Red Bulls.
Right.
There are none on the shelves, like none. So I'm talking to the worker, like, yo, y'all ain't got the roof. She was like, oh, our delivery is late. They said it's gonna be about a week and a half before we get our before they get their next delivery as far as like beverage joints from this specific vendor or whatever. I'm like, damn. She was like, I mean, we got some in the bag. How many do you want? I'm like, y'all are hoarding Red Bulls? Dog.
Seen your face before. You,
Dog.
like,
The
you come
bitch,
here a lot.
the bitch brought him out. Remember the gold bar on Die Hard with a Vengeance? That's how she brought this joint out. I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on? But it's like, yeah, every single thing. Like,
Something simple I seen yesterday. Somebody I know that's a caterer had posted on her IG story. She paid $114 for 20 pounds of chicken. And she was like, yo, that's not even a full case. She was like, a full case of chicken used to cost like $70, $75. So now they're paying $114, which is, 40-50% more for half as much. Like, the shit is nuts.
Yeah.
Can't get shit.
That's only gonna get worse.
Yeah, and
better anytime soon.
We've literally been from jump. Like, yeah, the economy it's gonna bottom out.
Oh, for sure.
It's gonna have to, just because, not even necessarily the fact of the inflation, but the fact that everybody's actually buying this shit.
Right.
If motherfuckers would just chill, like we talked about the on the Patreon, what was the
consumption.
consumption? If people would just like, yo, fall back.
They can't.
They can though.
We're a consumer society.
Right.
All we do is consume.
From nothing. Like, remember when you could buy luxury goods consistently at a discounted price?
Yeah.
Like, if you knew somebody that worked at Saks or Neiman Marcus, whatever, you get 30, 40, 50% off sometimes. Now you're happy to pay retail, and you're willing to pay 30, 40, 50% more.
I'm about to say, you're happy to pay whatever the fuck it is.
Whatever the number is.
Whatever the fuck it is. Cool.
Just to turn around and go to a bar in some fucking local hood and somebody step on your motherfucking $3,000 Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's dumb.
Yeah. My whole thing is like, it can't possibly continue. Like, you know how there are no cars right now. The car dealerships. It's like, okay, once everybody has,
kind of silly.
they're doing terrible, don't it? It look awful over there. Once everybody has a car or two cars, it's like, you can't get more cars,
Yes,
can
I
you?
can.
But it's like you think back to Stunner and you like, no, you can get
Stunner had 50
you can get
whips.
50 whips and 6 limos. So it's like, yeah, no, you could really. So it's you're right. In 2 years, it's gonna happen. The housing shit right now, bro. I'm gonna talk to y'all air about how crazy this shit is right now. Like, real talk. You can get damn near double what you paid for a house 10 years ago. You can get damn near double.
Oh yeah,
right
100%.
Like, I'm not even
There's
guessing.
people that's getting 70% more houses they bought 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
People are calling my mom paid $140,000 for her crib in Upper Darby on the good side, the Westchester Pike side or whatever. And people are calling her daily trying to buy her home for $300,000.
My dad said people be calling him for the crib. Like, yo, sell this joint and just go to jail for 5 years and just wait for this shit to come back down.
Because the thing is, whatever you make on selling your crib,
You got to turn around and
you got to go buy a new house.
Yeah.
So it's like you're gonna go buy a house that's 80% marked up. You didn't really make no money.
My homie the other day was like, I mean, you can get a house built. I'm like, yeah, but the materials is all through the fucking roof. So the workers is overcharging.
Wood is like 7x.
Wood is overpriced. Concrete is up. So it's like, yes, you're gonna do the same thing regardless.
Yeah.
I told you, I said, Kev sent that shit to me. A house sold for $58,000 over the ask. It spent 0 days on the market. I'm like, how?
Sent the fucking this shit about to hit the market. They sent the text out to 10 people,
Right.
And they got into a private bidding war, and then the fucking house got sold.
Well, and I understand a lot of companies, a lot of corporations are buying real estate right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you got corporations competing with regular people,
No win.
you can't win. You can't beat a corporation.
No.
Because they'll just pay more and just say fuck it.
I told you we was at the sheriff's sale. Asian bull and a Russian bull were buying every fucking lot that can. I mean, they weren't even like how my homie I was with, like he was literally on the tip, like, yeah, man, I got a dub, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
I'm here for this one property.
yeah, and he literally like, you know, like 12, like 13, 14, 15. He's like, all right, let's slow the fuck down, nigga. 16, like them Asian, but they don't. The boy like, yo, I am a triad. I don't give a fuck how much this shit.
Endless money.
I run Hong Kong, nigga. I don't give a fuck how much this shit costs.
Share sale. All you got to do is show up with a bunch of fucking blank checks. 10%, 10%. You come back, cash them motherfuckers out in a week. Like, all right, we're gonna go sell some black tar heroin. I'll be back with the checks, the cash out of these fucking cribs.
I got a container full of people that's going. Once that land overseas, I'll be right back with this money. Yeah, seriously, it's fucked up, but that's real. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. Share sale 5-6 years ago. I'm sitting in there, me and Zeke, rest in peace, he in there, he came for this one particular house. I'm like, I don't know if this is the best strategy, bro. He's like, no, like I got $17,000 for this one crib. It's not looking good. So we in there, African bull, two Russian bulls, another Jewish guy and an Asian guy. Every lot that come up, bung, bung, bung. All day. If we there for like 4 hours, I'm like, yo, can we just go home? Like, you're not getting this crib, bro. It's a wrap.
My great aunt about to die. I'll sell you her crib. She leave it to me, but you're not getting nothing in there.
You're not getting nothing in there.
This is over.
You have $1 million. You're not getting.
You're not getting nothing in here. Like, yeah, it's crazy, man. The where are we at? How do you feel about Biden's first? What is it now? 8, 9, 10 months.
It's a joke.
It feels like years.
Yeah. It's like we bitten right now.
It's a joke. I mean, it's just as you watching the destruction of the country right before your eyes. You watching it. So I would just say prepare. Everybody get prepared. It's that dire of a situation right now. Like, so, I mean, like you see all the prices of everything going up. You see, you know, they talking about like 1 million refugees about to surge the border. You know what I mean? Like, not that really affects us up here and Philadelphia too much, but you know, eventually we will see the effects of that, because Philadelphia is a sanctuary city. So a lot of immigrants, they come from, you know, all across the border, and they come here and they post up, and you know, they take a lot of jobs that a lot of young black people should be getting, and what they do is they drive down the price of the wages. So like, say there's a job that, you know, a young black person could be getting paid $12 an hour for, you know, a 16-year-old, you know, illegal immigrant come in here and do it for $4 an hour.
Right.
Yeah.
And they taking that job. So I mean, you see it on construction sites, you see it in all types of, and you know what I mean? Like, you see is immigrants at construction sites.
You ever seen Clerks too?
Yeah.
Remember Earthquake and Wanda was at the line waiting for the food? He's like, no, Mexicans, man, they make me sick, man. Motherfucker took my job and shit. He's like, what job? He's like, remember, I used to be a roofer. Mexicans took my job, put a roof up in 30 seconds. How the fuck am I supposed to compete with that? This motherfucker put a roof up in 30 seconds. Guess how the fuck I'm supposed to compete? Earthquake a dickhead for that. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right, man. Like,
I think the biggest disconnect, man, with the Biden administration so far is that a lot of people voted hoping that it would go one way, and ignored the track. I had literally had people tell me, ignore the track record.
Right.
Fuck the track record. It's worth a shot. Anybody better than Trump. It was ignore the track record, it's worth a shot, and anybody but Trump was the three main talking points I got hit with trying to work through this in my head. Like, yo, I don't think this is like a good situation for us. And people bullied me back over to the Democratic Party, and I'm like, all right, fuck it. We gonna give it one more shot.
The wildest part about politics when it comes to being black, and this is just me, the way I see it, right? Looking at the political landscape,
right.
When you as a black person, and this is not just me or us, I've heard this from at work, on the steps of the church, like the beginning of Amen. It don't matter where the fuck you at, nigga. The way niggas talk about politics, especially when it came to this election, was, they both bad, but it's like, right. You take the lesser of two evils.
Take the lesser of two evils.
And it's crazy that's how we have to, like, so going at it at like that at all,
right, is
just crazy that you, like, to where you even just like, all right, well, we're going to take the lesser of two evils. Then that gets elected and you electric sliding. That's crazy as shit.
It is. It's insane to me. I think instead of taking the lesser of two evils, you take, you think about what's important to you. What's important to you, what's important to your family, what's important to your community. And then you look at the candidate that's going to take care of that. You know what I mean? You don't just look and say like, Trump, he said drink bleach and he told people to fucking, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like all this crazy shit that the media is saying, like that doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like what are his policies? What are my taxes going to look like after my check? You know what I'm saying? Like that's what matters. Like, are you going to be able to feed your family? Are you going to be able to start a business without having the government all in your pockets? Right. You know what I mean? That's what really matters. And that's what people weren't looking at. People were looking at, performative shit that just didn't matter at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, Joe Biden, he picked a woman, a woman of color as the vice president. You know what I mean? Like, who cares?
They don't even identify as a woman of color.
Right, exactly. Who cares?
As keeps telling us, like, no.
Yeah.
Right.
But because her nephew-in-law wore Dior Jordan 1s to the fucking inauguration, it was like, I told y'all, I'll never want to hear this she ain't black shit again.
Yeah.
Symbolism.
Right. Symbolism and performative shit. It's just like...
Yeah, I feel like people, like I said it on the Patreon episode, like people literally looked at Trump and it was like his antics. Right. And was like, it's not necessarily the policy, it's the antics and all of the nonsense around it, which he did a gazillion different dumbass and things. But
for sure.
But me personally, I grew up on Degeneration X and NWO, so it's like it was cool, it was cool, yeah.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, that's how we kind of like, he's hilarious. It's funny as shit because Trump is exactly what would happen if, like, you ever watch Head of State? And it's so funny because everything that Chris Rock was doing with Bernie Mac, that's how Trump and Benz were acting.
Right.
They was like niggas that got elected as president. That's really how it came off. But it's just like people couldn't get past all of the nonsense to actually be like, whatever.
Like I used to say, like, think about it. Like, say Trump was a black dude and he said all the same policies as he has. You would be like, yo, I fucks with that nigga.
Right.
That's that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he was a black dude, you wouldn't even be worried about like his antics. You would be like,
I kind of got on the train where it was like, oh, Biden Harris, like, all right, sound cool. You know what I'm saying? They got a little catchiness to it. All right. Kamala ain't that bad. You know what I'm saying? She did a lot of wild shit, but whatever. Like you said, we can get past it. Let's, it's clean slate.
Clean slate.
And for me, looking at it like him as president, her as the vice, just seeing at what's happened over the last 8-9 months, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, so how did y'all wreak this much havoc in 8 or 9 months?
Like, I know y'all, I don't know if you sports bet, I know you don't really get into it, but like, you can cash out.
Right.
Like, the bet was for 500. They offered me a cash out for 212. It's like, you know what I mean?
Take the money in real.
Take my 212. I put something else in though. 4 o'clock game, Seattle play. Y'all can put something else. So it's like, that's kind of how I look at it. Like, it's from what I kind of believed that it was going to be. I really thought, and again, student loan doesn't impact me. It impacts a lot of people I know, but it doesn't impact me. I thought there was going to be a significant something to the student loan thing. Right. I thought there was going to be a significant something to the legalization of marijuana and everything that goes in and around that. I
think you got 34 states now that have it legal in some capacity or another. The precedent is already there that like we want this shit.
For me to look up and see that the student loan thing is just off the table.
Don't even talk about.
Yeah, don't even bring that back up. And now the things that are actually happening is like, all right, like
well, they couldn't do the student loan thing because it put the Democrats in a tough spot because the student loan thing, the student loans, the whole idea behind it is, you want to help out the people that are struggling. but the demographic of people that need student loan forgiveness are actually doing better
Yeah.
than everybody else.
Right.
So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, we can't help them first before we help all these other poor people that don't even have degrees. Like, these motherfuckers got degrees and they can get a good job for $80,000 a year.
Now that you say that, I know several people who are doing good that just are deferring their loans. Like, I'm not paying that shit.
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
Yeah, me. I graduated in 06.
I wasn't going to say it, but all right.
Come get it.
I graduated in 06.
Dog, I know several people.
I'm just now in 2021 coming to the realization I'm going to have to pay this shit.
It's several people out there with a federal. You can get out in personal, boy.
My one John that's left $53,000 federal.
Yeah, like that. But it's several people I know who are doing super good. Louis this, Gucci that, homes, cars, all that shit. And they just like, every time it come up for deferment, man, click, nigga, I'm not paying that.
Income-based deferment.
Yeah, income-based deferment.
I saw something yesterday. Somebody hit me on Twitter and was like, yo, y'all was talking about this on Patreon. They said average student loan debt for somebody coming out of medical school, $216,000 a year. The one way though that people that are, attending physicians and shit like that, they can circumvent paying the debt is, my homie told me, he a traveling nurse, he told me, shout out my man Rob, he said you sign a contract with like a bigger hospital group or whatever like that. Sign a contract with them. So say you come out of school, you come out of Drexel as a doctor, you sign a contract with UPenn for 3 years. Long as you complete your 3 years with UPenn as an attending physician, they wipe the slate clean. They pay your full debt for you, and then after that contract, you're free to negotiate with whoever. So then some go start a private practice, some go, to another hospital, whatever the case may be. But they free and clear. And he says sometimes if you like start getting a reputation as a real talented doctor, somebody else will swoop in before the 3 or 4 years, pay the debt for you, and then move you over to their hospital group. So that's how they get out of it. But for people that's like lawyers and shit like that, you ain't getting out of your fucking student loan debt. You gotta pay that shit.
Yeah, I honestly thought that with Biden getting in, because that was like a big thing people was on. Like, yo, we ain't even worried about the tax shit right now. We just trying to get this handled. Because student loan, that shit, it crushes people. Like, it'll bury you. And I told you, I watched that thing. The one girl was like, man, my student loan payment is more than my rent. Right. I'm like, yo, that's nuts. So it's like, yeah, that's a big deal for people, and for him to like get everybody like in that, to get in and just be like, yeah,
the closer he got to the election, he started walking that shit back, and I'm just like, yo, are y'all watching the same news I'm watching? Because he was like, he hit niggas with the abuse of power Joan. That was like a Joan that flew under the radar. Then it was like, oh, I don't really. Then he did a public press conference and was like, oh, I don't really think it should be for people that went to like Ivy League. Right. Universities shouldn't be eligible for student loan forgiveness. So then remember Rob was snapping about that. He like, what the fuck? I went to UPenn. I got XYZ amount of student loan debt. How you just gonna say fuck it and fuck me because I was able to get into a good school? So it was like they created all this red tape around it to where they just like, all right, yeah, we can take that off they just scrubbed the deck with it. Like, we just gonna take that off the table. Boom. What else y'all got? And it's like they hitting us with shit that we didn't even ask for. Nobody asked for like, oh, you need to be finding, additional tax revenue or whatever like that. And it's like, it's just such a democratic thing to do. When you can't figure out your economic issues, you go and tax motherfuckers. Yeah. And that's one thing in particular that I've seen over the last 20 years. Democrat to Democrat, whenever they got an economic problem, you in a poor big city, Baltimore, Philly, shit like that, St. Louis, you can't figure out your problems, tax these motherfuckers, impose some sort of fees on them. And it's like, well, where do y'all think these taxes are going? To the people that need the money the most. It's bad enough like a city like Philly, you already got 8% tax versus 7 in some counties, 6 in the 85% of the counties. You already paying more taxes there. Then if you work and live in Philly, you get hit with an additional wage tax. All of that doesn't count. And just like, oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna charge y'all to pick your trash. Well, what am I paying all of this taxes for? We gonna get back to you. Like shit like that. So on a federal level, to do that and say, yo, we feel like people aren't paying their fair share of taxes, we're going to look at everything that comes through above $600, whether it be an app, direct wire transfers, peer-to-peer sharing, whatever the case may be. We're going to tax you. We're going to make sure that you get a 1099 form sent to you based off of that income, and you got to either write it down, meaning like claim your exemptions against it, or you got to claim that income on your taxes. It's like, nobody asked for this.
Right. Nobody asked for that.
Nobody asked for this. And at the end of the day, it's going to hurt small business more than anything, which small business is the lifeblood of the country. Right. It seems like everybody's an entrepreneur, but in reality, only 6 to 8% of people in the country are entrepreneurs. But even with that being said, 5,000 new small businesses start every fucking day. So why would you want to put more impediments in place to them getting up and running, creating more jobs for people, impacting the local communities that they operate in, and potentially impacting the national community if they grow to be a fucking Top Shop or a fucking Fashion Nova or something like that?
Because they have to be honest, like I said before, this all goes back to, the one world government thing. They have to destroy small businesses and allow the corporations to come in and take over all the land. You know what I mean? They have to shut down all the small business. That's why you saw during the shutdowns, they had small businesses were shut down, but they still had, like, Walmarts were still open. You could still go to McDonald's.
They deemed them essential.
Right, essential. So, all the non-essential people, we're all gonna get screwed. Like, if you're not, if you don't have a job that they consider essential, or you're working for a big corporation that is funded to the point where they can stay open during whenever the next shutdown or whatever the next thing they're gonna do is, it's gonna be a very bad situation for a lot of people, unfortunately. But
I was essential during the thing, and we got hosed too. So
yeah, I mean, they even screwing over the essential people too. So
let's talk about the nursing situation, like the shit that's going on right now with the nurses in New York City, New York State, not just the city, New York State and North Carolina in particular. They're firing nurses who are refusing to get vaccinated. The number one argument in their favor, whether you believe in vaccination or not, is we worked the whole pandemic when there was no vaccination. Yeah. We worked on COVID floors. We worked on ICU COVID floors where people are literally dying of COVID, like the worst cases you can possibly have. And we worked through all of that, and y'all wasn't pushing us to get no motherfucking no vaccine.
Right.
Furthermore, most of them didn't even get their hazard pay. They had to fight to get their hazard pay and only ended up getting 25% of it, from what I understand.
We didn't get nothing.
And people like Matt that was essential had to go out here and fucking work with these crazy motherfuckers that wouldn't go in the house.
Ain't get a dollar.
Didn't get a dollar. So it's like shit like that it's just like, yo, y'all are infuriating the people that you're quote unquote supposed to be helping. Right. Like, it's just strange to me.
Well, like I said, it's the regular person is about to go through some tough times right now because everything is geared towards lining up for this new reset. The Great Reset is what they call it. Everything's about to if you don't have a tech job or you're not doing something like this, the regular jobs, you better figure out some type of way to monetize what you do,
right,
and monetize it electronically. Because regular jobs is going to be coming to an end soon, because you never know when they might say this is a new COVID-33, and the way they could do it, they could pump it through the media to the point where they could pump so much fear in people that they'll just comply to everything. So they'll say, oh yeah, shut me down, shut my business down, send me my couple $100 check, right. You know what I mean, and I'm straight.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
All right, since we got into the whole thing, I want to talk about the vaccine. Do you feel like the vaccine mandate is like a bit much?
Oh, it's way too much.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. You can't tell somebody they have to, especially something that you can't sue somebody. Like, say I get the vaccine and I get fucked up. I can't sue, or there's no liability for anybody. There's no, you know what I mean? I'm just asked out.
Really?
Yeah, there's no, really. There's no liability through any of the companies. Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, if you're over in Europe, you can't sue if you have an adverse reaction to the vaccine.
I saw you posted something on your Twitter yesterday, like reposted like a news article. It was like something about Johnson & Johnson, like some sort of third blood clot
right, yeah,
tied to the J&J vaccine. And I'm just like, yo.
The Johnson & Johnson has had a lot of issues with their
yes, with everything.
I'm not all too sure about their lotion no more. Like,
I mean, shit, they had baby powder was giving people cancer.
Baby powder was giving people cancer.
Yeah. Damn, yeah, they did have that big ass lawsuit. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Damn. Yeah, Johnson & Johnson's been on that bullshit
for years.
I'll say this with the vaccine, and I'm not anti-vaccine.
That's my thing. I'm not anti-vaccine totally. If you want to get the vaccine, go ahead and get the vaccine. I don't advise it, but if you want to get the vaccine, go ahead and get the vaccine. I don't want to get the vaccine.
Like I keep
don't
saying,
push it on me.
I keep saying I'm gonna go get it, but then I just like I go to the gym and Chick-fil-A. I just kind of just like don't. I be forgetting.
It's not a priority.
Yeah, like, but I never like, you know how they be like, oh, the flu shots is in at Rite Aid. I just go to Rite Aid, get my deodorant, and keep it put like I don't really. It's not something I think about where it's like, oh, I gotta do like.
Right.
But I'm not anti the shit.
Right.
But I will say this: for it to come about, and like Chad just mentioned, all these different situations, like us on the bus, motherfuckers was on the bus every day during the fucking COVID shit. There was no vaccine. There was no, and the nurses were in the COVID units dealing with people, holding their hands while they was dying. There was no COVID vaccine. For it to get to the point where it's like, yeah, you can get that vaccine or we firing you, it's crazy. And Draymond Green made a very, very good point the other night. I don't know if you've seen him talking. And Draymond Green was like, yo, it's the most un-American thing on earth.
It really is.
To say, yeah, you're gonna lose your liberty, your freedom, and your pursuit of happiness on the strength of not going to get the vaccine. It's crazy when you really think. But did you see Wiggins apparently went and got it?
Oh, did he?
That's what I saw.
He want to miss that 17-5.
Yeah.
The fuck he was supposed to make.
Yeah.
But think about it though. If the largest demographic of people racially that don't want to get the vaccine is black people, and if they making all these mandates to where unvaccinated people can't
whatever
participate in society, yeah, right. We can't participate in society without the vaccine. What does that lead to? Are we doing vaccine apartheid? You know what I mean? Are we? All right, yeah, you can't come in steak 48 unless you got the Vaxx card. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't. You got to go to McDonald's. Like McDonald's will serve you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
do you have $100? Come on, like that's what they. We just need you to have a bean, though. Like we don't give a fuck what you got. But nah, it's wild when you really sit and look at it. You saw Biden was like, if you don't get the vaccine, we're gonna make it tough for you to live in America.
Right.
I was like, what?
Like what?
It's like the vaccine big boss man.
Right.
Like what? Are you gonna send a one-man gang and jump to my house and beat me the fuck up?
We gonna make it tough for you to live in America. And it's just like, yeah, like I look at all these different situations where they like, yo, all right, cool, my sneakers got delivered. It's like,
congratulations.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. The you know, where all of these different agencies are like, you got till this day to go get the vaccine. Right. You got, this and the third. But my whole thing is, like you said, how when you're not even going to be on the flip side?
Right.
Like if you work at the airport, cool, you got to have a vaccine. But then people can just freely travel through the airport.
Yeah.
So
you still could come in contact with people.
But you can still pass the virus with the vaccine.
Right.
Yeah.
Apparently people
get the virus with the vaccine.
Chris Paul apparently had it after he got the vaccine.
Right.
So it's just none of it makes sense for me, and that's the part that I'm be like I try to make it make sense from both sides, from the conservative, the unconservative, the Republican, the Democrat, all of this shit. And none of it makes sense.
Yeah, my thing is, I don't want to be an asshole and just rock the boat for the sake of rocking it, but it's like, make it make sense for me. And nobody's clearly made it make sense, because I see situations where there was a Carnival cruise where 98.6% of the staff and the vast majority, this is the exact words that they use in the news article, the vast majority of the patrons on board were all vaccinated, and everybody who caught the virus was vaccinated. Every single one of them. It was like now, 18 people.
When I see shit like that, to me, this might sound crazy to some people. When I see shit like that, that makes me say, well, damn, maybe the vaccine is the virus. Like, that's some wild shit to say. Yeah. Like, you see his face when I said that, like, oh, shit.
Yeah, you definitely wild.
That's the moment. That's the moment. Thank you. Our promo clip. Tell her, mark that.
Our week's use a wild boys.
You know what I'm saying? But think about that. Like, if 98.6% of people on board of a vessel have caught this thing, like we gotta start asking questions. Like we can't. Well, they can't just be to the point where we can't ask that question. It's like, oh, you crazy, nigga. You can't be asking them type of questions.
I mean, you ever been on a cruise ship? They got hula hoop contests and everything. Everybody's on the deck doing stupid shit. That's where the fuck the virus. One motherfucker with the virus fucks everybody up. We was doing the limbo. I got low. Whatever. But I just look at it like from all parts. None of it really makes any sense to me. And I'm a logical person. Like I can really see things objectively. Right. I can put myself in other shoes. I can think outside the box. And I at times just be like, I don't get it. Right. The NBA right now. They got the thing for New York, the thing for California.
Right.
Nigga, Kyrie Irving is legit going to not be able to play no home games for Brooklyn because that's in New York.
And he can't play against the Knicks.
And he can't play against the Knicks since they play at Madison Square. But he can hand out work in Philly, New Jersey. This shit is crazy.
It doesn't make any sense.
To take it a step further, in the Andrew Wiggins case, he would have missed 40 some odd games or whatever for Golden State home games. But he could have came on the road and played at Barclays Center and at Madison Square Garden because he's not a resident
of New York State.
It makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
And he's got
Stephen A. Smith was I think the Lakers are going to take the championship. He literally just went to like dog, because it's like, yeah, like that right there. Kyrie Irving can't play here because he's actual resident here playing for the team. But then someone who can't play in California,
playing his home state,
can come and play in New York as a visitor.
Right.
What?
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And not only that, like these guys are out there sweating on each other, screaming in each other's face with spit flying. You know what I mean? Like, how are we talking about any type of restrictions right now when you got pro athletes? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense. Like after that, and when they do the post game interviews, you know, the interviewer is standing 10 feet away from the dude. Like, come on, man. Like, but all this is for show. Like, come on.
Swear to God, I be thinking the same thing when they doing the interviews. And nigga, he at the foul line, nigga at the 3-point line. Hey, that's how you feel.
Like, come on, like this is all for show right now.
I swear on everything, I be thinking the same shit when I watch it. Like, why the fuck are they that far apart?
After the interview, like when they cut the cameras, they go up and give them a hug. And shit. They taking pictures, Instagram and shit like that. Cool.
Last night, flipping through channels, because my free cable was acting up. I had to
call a guy.
Yeah, I had to call a guy. But when it came back on, I went to. Did you know there was an award show last night?
No.
iHeart.
Oh,
I had no idea.
Oh, so it's televised now.
Yeah, that shit was on.
I had no idea.
Because the reason Little Baby was on.
Okay.
And he had a nice Prada outfit on, and he had on the brown what's the leather Prada's, the classic American Cups. Yeah, it looked nice, but Little Baby was performing, and the crowd was going berserk. And you know the iHeart crowd is like white.
Yes.
Like white.
Not Taylor White.
No,
white.
like white.
Actual white.
Yeah, actual white. Like Dr. Quinn in medicine was like, they was white. And the arena was packed. I'm talking about like, it was like 20,000 motherfuckers in there. Yeah. And they had on masks. And I was just like, yo, this is the craziest shit ever. Yo.
The mask shit is strictly performative. If you look on the side, like if you buy a mask from like Rite Aid or something like that, the little masks that look like this, masks, like on the side of them, they say like, these masks do not prevent any disease.
Nothing.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
nothing.
They did interviews with Fauci back last year before, like when COVID first started becoming a big thing. Like he's like, nah, the mask is not really helping.
Dog.
The mask isn't doing anything.
We gotta wear masks driving the bus. I had my mask on the other day and farted. I'm like, yo, that joint dang, damn, like masks don't even stop the funk out this joint. Like the mask
the virus is
the virus is
But you got people that have
virus all up in
I know the virus getting through this motherfucker.
Right. You go into a store in Philly, sir, you have a mask? Sir, can you put your mask on? Like, what's this mask on? This mask is doing shit.
They get on us because you know niggas be on the bus with no mask. They don't give a fuck. Right. You know what I'm saying? And they be calling us in the back. Yeah, man, you know, people was complaining because they was riding with you and wanting to say no. The nigga got on the bus the other day. I swear to God, this is why you just can't talk to people. He gets on, no, man. You know, motherfuckers be going for their mask. Yeah. Oh, shit, let me get my door. I got you, big dog. They be doing all that shit. The nigga got on. I'm like, yo, cuz you got a mask? He was like, yeah, I mean, I got one, but like, I put my mask on. I mean, I'm robbing on it. I'm like, I feel you, dog. I don't even know what the fuck to say. Man got a point. It's just like, yeah, the mask thing is once I saw to where it was like people were making masks like with their design, their whatever they got, their catchphrase,
once the fake Chanel mask in the market, you knew.
The girl got on my bus with like a mask she made, like a crochet jump, like kufi. And it's just like,
man, that has air.
I got holes in it.
How are you stopping right now?
It's like, this
You're not preventing anything.
This is for nothing. So it's just like, yeah, no. Once I saw something, it was like the like it was all these different masks and what they prevent. Like oxygen mask and World War II chemical mask and all these big contraptions that you can breathe through. And it was like the most deadly disease in history. And it was the paper mask. And it's just like, yeah, this is how dumb we be looking, yo. This is how stupid we be looking. Like this mask is doing nothing.
But think about it. The same logic that they use for the vaccine is what they use for the mask in the beginning. Like, all right, so if you got your mask on, then why are you worried about my mask? Like, well, you got to have both the masks. We both have to have a mask.
Yeah.
Because, that doesn't make any sense right now. Like, what are we saying right now?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me. None of it really makes any. And then, like I said, with the vaccine situation, it's like, I know people who went and got the vaccine, they were sick. They were like, yo, I was sick as shit. Then I know people who got it, didn't have nothing. People who got it, they were like, oh, my arm hurt. Right. People who got it, and it was like, nothing hurt. People who got it and were genuinely had to go to the hospital, like fucked up. Right. People who got it and were perfect. They didn't even leave work. They didn't even use they day off work that you get. But my thing is like for my company I work for, when they literally were like, we'll give you the day off and $100, I'm like, this is some bullshit going on right here.
They was throwing motherfuckers pizza parties.
Yeah, you get a personal fan piece.
You get unlimited chips and dip at Mad Max.
Like you read a Goosebumps book, nigga. You take this pizza and go get you a little personal fan pizza. I was like, all right, yeah, this might be some bullshit because they don't get
block parties. We'll send jerk chicken man to your house. You know, the jerk chicken you
get the vaccine, nigga. You get the day off and a bean and a pizza, nigga. And it was like, all right, yeah, something might be going on. So that's what kind of had me where I was just like, I don't know. Right. And I'm not one of those. I am a conspiracy theory bull to a certain extent, but I'm not that bull where it's like, oh, they implanting something in you. But I'm not that bull. I never really got any of that. I don't get flu shots. I don't I just never.
I had a flu shot in probably 20 years.
Yeah, like I'd imagine that. We went to school in the 80s and the 90s, so I'm assuming I got like the children's vaccines, but I was a child. I don't even remember. But I, as an adult, have never been like,
you know, get like TB, polio, all of that shit.
Like I as an adult have never been like, yo, I'm here, yo.
The last one I got was going into college. I think we had to get like the meningitis shot.
Okay,
like freshman year of college, living on the dorm. You can't live on the dorm.
That shit'll kill you.
Right.
Bacterial meningitis will kill you in an instant. Like 3 days, you out of here. Right. That shit spread, getting your fucking brain or your spinal fluid or whatever.
They scared me to death with that one. I was
I'll get that shit. I'll get that shit. That shit, I'll get that right now today. Y'all can come pull up at the studio. I'll get the bacterial meningitis.
You like, I'm fucking everything. They like, sir, it's not sexually transmitted. You're like, whatever. Just hit me with the needle.
Give it to me while I'm agreeing.
Give it to me while I'm agreeing. Yeah, but that was my biggest thing with the thing. It's like, why are y'all making, and like Draymond Green said, why are y'all going so hard about this?
Right.
Like it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, y'all are going way too hard about the shit. You saw he said all federal employees have to have it by November 22nd.
Yeah.
All government jobs, all government people, federal, all that shit.
Or that ass is fired.
And the crazy part is they've really been like letting people go from. I saw I think here in Penn, they let like 20 people. There was people who had like 20 years and all that shit. It was just like they don't give a fuck about religious exemptions, health exemptions.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. People have religious exemptions. They have medical.
The only joint you could get around right now, from what I've talked to a couple of people, is like if you pregnant.
Damn. That's it?
They not gonna force it on you if you pregnant.
But see, what about people that have like issues where the vaccine may interact with, like maybe you have like a heart issue or you know what I mean, like a kidney problem or something like that.
You know what else gonna break that heart? No paycheck, nigga. So
yeah, people that's immune compromised and shit like that, they can't get vaccines like that. So it's just like it's a whole host of different type of legitimate, like not people just like trying to weasel out their way out of it, but just literally like, no, this is like a real thing. And they like, nah, fuck that. You getting this vaccine, dickhead.
We don't care if it kill you.
Even if it kill you, we gonna know you was vaccinated when you died. Okay.
Yeah.
Figure that shit out.
But if you pregnant, you could get around it. This is with the federal situation where it's like, all right, but like the second you had
as soon as you drop, we gonna be right.
Yeah.
Oh, she had it. Okay, we sending somebody up now.
Yeah, we sending somebody up.
Sending somebody up from 4. What room is it?
We sending somebody up right now. Yeah, but from talking with somebody, when they had the exemption for wearing covering in the airport, you know, people work there had to wear like the facial shield.
Yeah.
When they put that in, people put in they Jones to like get around it. None of them got approved. So it's just like, yeah, like they not federally, they not fucking around.
Damn.
So it's like, yeah, November 22nd, like
D-Day.
And it's kind of fucked up when you really think about it. Like, you like, why do I like? Even if, and I'm not one of them people. Like, realistically, if my job step in and be like, yo, you gotta get that Jones. I'm like, man, listen, I'm trying to get this Beamer. I don't know, like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I get the shit. But to put people who really are like strong, firm believers, and I don't want that shit in my body. I don't to put them in a position where it's like, all right, well, what about your livelihood? Is wild as fuck.
It's terrible.
And then even the whole thing of like, oh, well, which one of the versions is FDA approved now, but only in emergency situations.
Pfizer is FDA approved,
but only in emergency situations.
What do you mean?
Like it's only considered like there's an enhanced version to where it's like if you feeling like super duper fucked up, like this one will save you, but it's only the version is only FDA approved. And I don't want to be spreading misinformation, but I read this in quote unquote emergency situations. So the regular Pfizer version that you go and get just on I'm getting the vaccine is not the same one that they giving you in emergency situations.
Right. Yeah, that
version is FDA approved.
Yeah. What? Yeah. There's different versions. Yeah. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, right?
Wow.
They don't like really report the stuff in the regular news. Right. You got to go research it and like,
deep in the internet, nigga. Yeah, he's super deep in the internet.
Damn.
Yeah.
And hopefully I didn't confuse nobody or word that wrong. But there are different versions of the Pfizer vaccine, and the one that's approved for emergency use, meaning like, damn, like you at 80% function, you 80% out of here, give them this, like. This should get the virus up out of them. Like that one is FDA approved.
Damn.
Not the regular version. You just go get at fucking Walmart.
See, that was another thing I'm confused with the vaccines. Like, how can me and somebody else that's like 2 times bigger than me get the same dose? Or how could a small woman get the same dose as a large man?
I don't think it works the same as Hennessy. I think, I don't think it works. Yeah, I think like
one size fits all.
I think like hearts and lungs and shit is all like the same and all of that shit. I don't necessarily think your body size would matter with that shit.
No.
Cause I remember when motherfucker told me, he was like, oh, if you a big nigga and you take Xans, you gotta take 3 or 4 of them. I was like, I don't know about this.
Seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, this is a drug.
Try to get you out of here.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I don't have many valuables in this house. I don't know what your angle is.
Trying to rob me.
Yeah, I don't know what your angle is. But no, it's like everything we're talking about is valid because we can sit here for the next 2-3 days just throwing out how none of it really makes much sense. Right. And I think people went just for the most part like, I want to live. I want to be alive. And it's like, that's cool. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. Me, I feel like I said, I just was on a tip where it was like, it wasn't something that registered with me because that type of stuff never registers with me. Like, you know how you be like when the new, I don't know, Chinatown shirts come out and you there?
Right.
It doesn't register with me because I'll see him. He'll come over and have where you get that? The Chinatown shirt. They had to change the name though, because and be like, are you? I didn't know. Okay. Right. So it's like I feel like I was just in the same boat I always was, where it's like that type of stuff just never really registered to me. But I've seen it so heavy from both sides in the last couple months, where it's like, if you don't get the vaccine, you a piece of shit. Right. Then if you go get the vaccine, you a complete fucking moron. And it's just like, it's not supposed to be like this, y'all. It's not supposed to be like this, y'all. So it's just like everything, where everything now is just, it's 0 to 100. Right. That's how everything is now. And it's just, it doesn't make, again, Dan's watching a porno apparently. It's like
new Isla Fox.
Yeah. That was a white porno. Oh, you know, white porno's got real life budgets and shit. Black porno just cut on and they fucking like. But no, like none of it makes sense, and that was my biggest joint with all of it.
Right.
And no one can really explain it.
Right. Like think about how, you know, why does the news never display anything about any adverse reactions?
I feel like they were at one point though. At least like CNN and shit was.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah, and then the Democrats was like, oh,
Yeah.
man, talking to him.
Como was on them hoes like put that shit on there.
We ain't got nothing better to talk about.
Yeah. Like, but yeah. I mean, it's gonna get weird in the next 6 months with the vac because it's like you see where we're headed. It's literally going to be a iron fist situation. Like you gonna get this shit or else. And like for me personally, I look at it like for my job, like if they step in and be like, oh, you got to get the vaccine. Okay, you know, whatever. I feel you. But do you still take the bus down the street with a bunch of people that you don't know?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You see how sketchy it get that fast?
Right.
It's like everybody that get on gonna have to show me a vaccination card.
Right. It could get to that.
Is that in North Philly?
I hope not. That's like it could get to that, but I hope.
Yeah,
not.
right. Like it's just a lot of different joints, and for me, I look at it and I'm just like, it does not make any sense from either angle.
Right.
None of it makes sense.
And I think that's the fairest way to look at it.
I don't think you can look at it any other way. Where it's like, because somebody could give you 80 fucking reasonings why. You could rebuttal that with 80 reasons why not.
Right.
And then the same on the flip side. So I really don't know. Yeah. I'm still lost.
Yeah, I just think the mandates are ridiculous. It should be just a personal choice strictly.
That's really what I feel like. The mandates are crazy because like we just shown with the NBA, excuse me, traveling in the airports, busing systems, police situation. Think about it. If the police, if the cops, if the commissioner step in and be like, everybody got to get the fuck vaccinated as a cop, am I still arresting people that are unvaccinated?
Right.
Why'd he get away? That nigga ain't had no vaccine card.
Freeze, motherfucker. You gotta show me your vax card. I don't got one. All right, go ahead.
Gonna get the fuck out of here.
Don't breathe on me.
I ain't see you.
Yeah. So it just, none of it makes sense. Again, like we could do that all day. So
yeah, for sure. All right, so we had some stuff in here about just like some American issues. I'm gonna skip that. I want to talk about Philly.
Yeah, fuck America.
Fuck America. All right, how fucked up is it in Philly if you had to give it a grade? How far gone are we?
We're at a F.
I was gonna say like
we're Mad Max right now.
Yeah, like big ass titties,
It's
like
Mad
a triple
Max
F.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that bad. Like I live in South Philly.
Oh yeah.
Like you know. Yeah.
You seeing it?
Yeah, I'm seeing everything.
Yeah,
I'm seeing everything on every angle.
Out there filming the double bus and shit.
Yeah, for sure.
How did we get here? If you had to assess the situation,
A lot of factors. I'm gonna say from what, just like the super violence that we're seeing right now.
the violence, the you know the poorness,
Right.
the lack of effective policing, like the politics, everything, the whole fucking gumbo. We could take it issue by issue.
You know, honestly, you know, Kenny sucks. Krasner sucks. He's letting people that shouldn't be on the streets. You know what I mean? I saw one guy that, you know, the dude that beat the Asian dude up in the middle of the street on the bike.
Yeah.
He had like 50 priors recently. Like, what is this nigga?
Yeah.
This nigga should not have been on the streets. But yeah, like you, that nigga.
Wait, he beat an Asian?
The dude that he was on like a dirt bike and he pulled the Asian dude out the car and beat the shit out of him
On Broad Street.
On Broad Street, yeah.
Oh, when he tried to go for the gun. Yeah.
That dude had like 50 priors, like recently. Like he should have still been in jail, but apparently Krasner just if you didn't kill somebody, Krasner's just gonna let you go. Yeah. I mean, I'm not for locking people up, but you know, some niggas need to be sat down for a little bit. Everybody don't need to, you know what I mean? Like
I deserve jail.
I ain't gonna hold you. The other day, I think you had tweeted like op culture is fucking up the city, and I'm
For
like,
sure.
yo, I ain't gonna hold you. In a weird way, I think op culture is terrible, but I'm gonna keep it a being with you. Free to real culture has dug us deep because no matter how ridiculous a motherfucker actions might be.
Right.
It's somebody like, wait till Big Bro come home, like, and it just be like, yo,
you know he be on Demon Time. We sliding on everything.
and like I told you when the nigga did that shit at the game store when they shot the cop.
Yeah.
I saw somebody post a John like, yo, free the real, and it's just like,
nah, that nigga, that nigga's a menace.
nah, and I'm unfollowing you. Like,
A couple of contrary to popular beliefs. All the real niggas are not dead or in jail.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird niggas in jail. Number two, some of these niggas deserve jail because they are not fit to deal with the public because they are on some like barbaric time of interacting with other human beings.
Right.
Like, and niggas are the only ones in niggas adjacent. Cause there's some white people in Philly that are niggas too.
Yeah, some Rican niggas too.
Yeah, that are the only ones that like ascribe to this shit. Like you literally are like co-signing like public destruction. Like people that are making it hard for regular working class people to fucking just live and enjoy their life because these motherfuckers are shooting the block up, fucking occupying a fucking corner, running open air drug markets, like all kind of shit that just makes life hard for everyone.
Right.
yeah,
That and social media too, like, you know, when the streets and social media intertwine, it's like, it's a terrible thing.
Man.
You know, you got people, you know, going live, talking crazy, you know, I just stepped on your man, you know what I'm saying? I just did this and that. You know, right.
Bitch ass nigga Kenny is a pack now.
Right.
We
Niggas a
smoking
pack
him
now. We
tonight.
smoking. That's niggas get killed for that for real.
yeah.
You know
True,
what I mean?
true
Like-
story. And I'm not trying to be funny. I didn't know what the stepping thing meant when it first. You know, I'm old.
Yeah.
And like I saw younger niggas from like my grandpa block, and I was like talking to him one day, and the young boy was like, "Yeah, you know, we be stepping on niggas." You know what I'm saying, like left and right. And I was just like, "Oh, y'all got a drill team."
They got a drill team.
I was
They definitely got a
Drill team for sure.
Like, you know, I used to play the drums back in the
and ladders.
Yeah, 30 rounds.
Yo, I had no clue what the fuck they was talking about. And then I like, you know, as you start listening to you know, everybody else, Lil Durk, you like, oh, okay, stepping. Like, I get it. Like, stepping. Like,
Yeah, physically stepping.
yeah, okay.
Putting my feet on shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and the step culture, free to real culture, all these different things have just infected society to where it's not, it's things, they're just not normal anymore.
No.
Correct.
There's no normalcy to
There's
it.
a lot of perverse
I'ma read
behavior
this.
that's being celebrated.
Right.
Yeah.
By black people far and away. They're the ones that are celebrating the shit. And then when tragedy strikes, people lose their life and stuff like that, then everybody want to take a step back and re-examine what the fuck is going on. But it's like, yo, all of like, you know, your behaviors and the things that y'all speak about and interact with and the people y'all interact with and things that y'all engage in and the things that y'all celebrate creates the end result of people that don't have nothing to do with nothing losing their fucking lives.
Right.
Like,
Well,
we
that's-
reached that part of the simulation where
Right. We're at the end game. Like,
Yeah.
I think I tweeted the other day, like, we're definitely at the end game of society now because you see it in all, you know, even in from like the political people to like the streets. When people start celebrating death, that's when you're at the end of your culture. Like you see in the streets, they you know, they celebrate death. They smoking on your pack. They you know what I'm saying? They throwing a party and
then
shit.
on the opposite side,
You know,
they name a hood after you.
Right.
Like,
And then when people, you see it in politics now where like, you know, say somebody dies of COVID, you know, was he vaxxed? Oh, he didn't have the vaccine? Oh, yeah, he deserved it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or like, you know, somebody dies from a bad reaction to the vaccine. You got the unvaccinated people like, should have took that vaccine. I told you, nigga. You know what I'm saying? So like, once it gets to that point and that type of attitude has infected society, that's how you know we at the end game of this shit. Like, start preparing yourself. You know what I'm saying? Start getting 6 months of food and shit. You know what I mean? Get you a couple, you know what I mean? Get whatever you got to get. Because things are going to change to the point where this society is not going to be what we grew up with very soon.
absolutely.
There were a series of tweets. Shout out to BF and crew, my brother Mitch. He had a series of tweets that then, of course, I can't pull it up because I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But on Facebook, somebody I went to school with had like screenshot him and post him. And I was like, oh shit, look at Mitch going viral and shit. And it was a series of tweets about, and it was so on point. I'm so mad that I can't get him. I meant to like screenshot him, but whatever. And I look at it like, yo, the tweets that he was saying was basically how people get on the shit that's going on in the streets, and it's like that's one side of it. But on the flip side, the people who aren't in the streets are glorifying and loving this shit to the point where it'll it'll almost like infect people who are in the streets to do certain things because you got eyes watching you, and it ain't even people who are playing that game. And it's like, yo, like he was saying on there, you got people who aren't in the streets that run around talking about, yeah, that's the ops, and you know, bro a rat, and this. I told you, I've heard niggas work at Foot Locker, like, nah, you know, so and so be ratting, so, and it'd be like, do y'all have the Air Max? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And it's just like, yo, it's just all around a nasty game. Shout out BF. I wish I could pull actual joints, but it's like, yo, it's the truth. It's like, it's not just one side of it. Right. It's every side. It's the whole society. Like, if you do something to him and he don't retaliate, it ain't even people that play that game. It's gonna be motherfuckers that work at Wendy's and Domino's and the cleaners and everything. Like, you know, Chad, you know, yeah, nigga, yeah.
They ain't gonna do something to
him? Yeah, I thought he was a stepper. Don't he be around so they be stepping like that shit is crazy. Yeah. And it really has just created a gumbo of just nonsense to where you can't even. I look at the situation like these recent shootings that we've seen happen. Rest in peace to everybody, man, losing their life in this goofy ass shit. But it's almost like, and again, I'm not glorifying but how do you as a human being have some shit happen like that to your family member, to your sister, to your brother, and just be like, whatever. It almost you know, begets, like violence begets more violence. Like it almost has to happen like that. Right. Cause there's no way you could lose your child's mother or your little sister in that fashion, and you just like, well, you know, they got the overtime tomorrow, so I'm good. Like it's not like that. It's like it literally turns paid in full. Anybody ever looked at me wrong? Anybody owes me money?
Ready to go.
And ESTG said, I got everybody shot since I couldn't pinpoint who it was. So when you get into situations involving extreme violence, when you know, especially when quote unquote the wrong people get killed and things like that, it just turns into a fucking bloodbath. Like it's no rules, it's no parameters, it's no oh maybe let me think about this and possibly no, people just go out here on a fucking warpath, and ultimately everything now is instantaneous. Like it's immediate. Like somebody gets shot today, whoever shot them or they think shot them getting shot
tonight. Yeah.
Like, it ain't no, maybe tomorrow we gonna plot, we gonna take a look, we gonna ask some questions, do some research on the street. No, we gonna go back around there today.
I think it was very interesting. Did you watch the newest episode of BMF?
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Nice.
I think it was very interesting that like the episode focuses around Meech after his brother got shot, Terry got shot, and Meech not wanting to shoot the bull that everybody was on, because you know Lamar blatantly lied about the shit. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it was Lamar at this point, but it's like he like no, I gotta be certain about this, because if it's not him and that shit starts some whole other shit, and it's just like damn, like to have enough wherewithal to not run out the house and just to not run out the house and just everybody getting it is like that's kind of where we at right now, like everybody getting it. Like if somebody shoots somebody I know, I'm coming to that block and just, you know, Miss Gladys, everybody.
Yeah, the Shih Tzu.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting
the youngins, they don't care about dying or going to jail no more. They don't really have a.
They be feeling like they gonna go to jail and be a hero. Like
or if they don't really care about dying. Like, you know, when I was coming up, I'm not thinking about doing anything that's gonna put my life in jeopardy. Like, I'm standing right.
Yeah.
Growing up, if I knew somebody that was, you know, in the streets, I stayed away from them just because I know you can get hit from being, you know, associated with certain people. But nowadays, it's like a different mentality. It's like, you know, it's more of just I don't give a fuck mentality. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I will say this because I do I take kids to school in the morning in Roxborough and shit. They get a bunch of them get on the bus, and listening to them talk, they are just so different than us.
Oh, without a doubt.
At least I'd like to think.
Right.
Because I remember when I was a 14, 15, I was trying to go get a Rockaware hoodie and a tape from 69th Street.
Right.
That was what it was. You know what I'm saying? Holler at my little chick I talked to, whatever. These little niggas is like, The one you bought the other day blatantly said it. He was like, yo, I'm trying to off this QP, man, before fucking lunchtime. And I'm like, this nigga's nuts.
How you gonna sell a whole QP before lunchtime at school?
I'm like, this nigga's crazy.
What's your go-to-market strategy?
The one young boy the other day, he was like, yo, like he was talking about one of the little chicks, like, look at the little chick over there coming out the wall. You see her? Yeah, like, dog, like, I'm trying to get on that. Like, he's like, yo, she with it? He's like, I don't know. I mean, her mom a freak, so it's like, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, how you know her mom a freak? Because my pop hit her mom. And I'm just, I'm like, yo, these little niggas, man.
Yo.
He said, my pop hit her mom. He was like, nigga, your pop told you his name? Man, my pop told me all that shit.
all these old bitches freaks, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, that little conversations be hilarious, but it's like, yeah, they little adults. Like, they not like kids, so they don't handle it in a kid manner. They have a problem. No nigga will pick up a pistol and put it in your fucking face.
Definitely.
Real shit.
Definitely.
Real talk. It's just different. All these murders. Remember that little stretch where it was like all these 16, 15, 17-year-old young boys was getting booked from.
It's still happening.
Yeah. Like it's a wild time right now in Philadelphia. Like we spoke about earlier, but like just the attitude. It ain't even necessarily that the violence, it's the attitude. The driving is out of control. The dogs will shit. People ain't picking that shit. Like it's just all the way around. The attitude is in the toilets, man.
This is like I said, we in the end. This is the end game of society, right here.
So
we're looking at it.
If we in the end game, how do we reverse it? Like what do we got to do, politics wise and community from a community standpoint to like try to turn this shit around?
That's a great question. Community wise, we all have to start, looking out for each other more. I know that sounds like it's not really the most Philly thing to say. You know what I mean? Look it out because, I think I tweeted the other day, like I had a tweet that went viral the other day. It was about like Kensington and not just Kensington, but all over Philly, you can go to pretty much any neighborhood and see somebody nodding off on a block.
Literally.
And, every neighborhood in Philly, there's somebody nodding off somewhere, and you'll see just people just walk past them. Nobody be like, yo, you all right, bro? You cool? Like, can I get you some water or something? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, anything like, nah. People just walking by like, look at this fucking junk.
Listen, this how far gone we are as a society. Back in the summertime, me and one of my close homies, we was giving away food to the homeless. We had like 200 platters or something like that. We had went and got the food, whatever, was giving it away to the homeless. We tried to go to Love Park. The park rangers ran the people out of Love Park. We tried to go down there to like 10th and Spring Garden where all of the people be at outside of the shelter, whatever, over there. Wasn't nobody there. We go to K&A. We go to K&A, give all of this food out, and I was like tweeting about, we went to K&A. It's like crazy up there, blah, blah, blah. We fed people. We're like, y'all shouldn't have fed them. Fuck them. And I'm just like, God damn. Like, they still
Where's
human.
the love at?
Like, where's the love at? Like, they still human at the end of the day. These people are battling addiction. The strongest addiction you can fight is a heroin, is an opioid addiction. So it's like at the end of the day, they still got to eat. And them people was appreciative that we even came up there because the attitude is, fuck y'all. Shouldn't nobody do nothing for y'all because y'all addicts. But it's like, God damn, like y'all curse me out for trying to do a good deed.
Terrible.
Y'all shouldn't have went up there. Y'all should have went to such and such. Well, where the fuck was you at when I was trying to GPS my way somewhere to give this goddamn food up?
Yeah, it is wild though. Like, see, being in it daily, like I would say, like people who drive the 54, I think they're crazy. I don't see how. I'm gonna do the 54 for overtime. This is up and down Lehigh Avenue, like through Kensington, down Cambria to Richmond Street. I do it for overtime, a trip or two. I just be like, when my couple weeks ago I had to do it. What did I do that for? We had dinner reservations so I had to get off early. So my dispatcher wound up, he gave me a run that it did a couple trips on the 9, but then it went and did one trip on the 54, but it got done at 4 o'clock. So he's like, I can get you off early, do this job. I'm like, all right, whatever. The one trip on the 54, I'm like, yo, I worked harder than my entire week. And I'm just like, yo, this shit, like that shit is crazy down there.
It's mayhem.
It's mayhem. I went out and did the 54 one day for overtime. The girl, she got on the bus, she was normal, but then the dope kicked in or whatever, and she was high as shit on the floor, couldn't get out. I'm talking about, I make a right turn, she on the left side of the bus. I make a left turn, she on the right side of the bus. I'm just like, all right, let me get this bitch some milk. So I pulled over, and this is just how crazy this shit is. I pull over, she on the floor, whatever. So I tell the people, I'm like, yo, I'm about to get somebody for whatever. I call the ambulance, they coming to get her, whatever. And I thought one joint was crazy. She had a skirt on, so she like was on the floor and she went to get up. Her whole ass came out of the skirt, and she had the furriest asshole I was just like, yeah, this bitch escaped from a mental institution. I was like, yo, what the fuck?
No, Harley Quinn going on.
What in the 1970s is going on? Like, yo, Foxy Brown, get up off the fucking floor. The fucking ambulance pulled up. I swear to God, white boy driving the ambulance. He gets out. I was like, yeah, she high as shit on the floor. He was like, dark skin with red hair. I was like, yeah. But he stepped on the bus like, all right, Teresa, come on. I was like, yeah.
She do this every week.
She fucking do exactly. It was like, she dark skin with red hair. I'm like, yeah. He stepping on the bus like, come on, Teresa, we ain't got time for this. You hold the bit. I'm just like, yo, this is nuts. He blatantly knew exactly who she was. I was like, yo, I don't see how they do this shit every day, though. This is nuts. So it's like, yeah, I can understand why people be fed up and annoyed and whatever. But it's like, yeah, they are humans at the end of the day. It's just crazy that that's the lifestyle. Yeah. And it's wild that goes on. That's just like normalcy now.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Open air drug market.
Yeah. We had one of the motherfuckers in my depot a couple years ago. He hit a girl on Kensington. And I remember people was all like scrambling like because there was like no buses out on the 54 that night. So they was trying to hurry up and put people out there because there was no buses out. Because somebody else had called out sick, somebody else broke down. Then I was like, what happened? They was like he hit a girl in a recliner. I'm like, oh, he went up on the curb. They was like, no, she was in the street. And I'm like, you see, this is what I be talking about. Like, she took the recliner out in the middle of the street.
Take this Kensington Beach shit too far. Sit down there. I was down there for like a good hour. No. You sit down there. The police cruiser is parked on the sidewalk. Man, they chilling with the air blasting, smoking they weed or whatever the fuck they doing. Just watching the whole shit go down. Don't nobody get out the car. No. Somebody fall down the steps, bust their head open. They call the ambulance. They come clean these motherfuckers up.
Oh, I seen
police never get out the car.
Dude, I was on the 54 coming to Kensington and Somerset. Out of nowhere, all you saw was cops, fire trucks, and they just blocked the whole intersection. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? A nigga jumped in front of the train. Oh shit! At the Somerset station and shit, like trying to kill himself. He jumped in front of the fucking train. So they swarmed and just fucked. So I couldn't go nowhere. So I tell people like, yo, we ain't going nowhere. So they're like, damn, how long you gonna be? I'm like, I didn't do this shit. I don't know. So they like, yeah, somebody jumped in front of the train. He went under the train. I'm like, oh damn, somebody, they gotta get the corner, every fucking thing else. The 3 is over here. I'm on the 54. They detouring, sending the 54 straight up Lehigh because you can't come through Somerset. That shit was crazy. So we out there for about like 45 minutes, an hour. So the ambulance, EMTs, it's 100 of these motherfuckers up there. You hear people like, oh my God, he's alive. And I'm like, what? They pulled the nigga out, put him on the stretcher. They bringing him down the steps and shit. He waving to the crowd like Michael Jackson. They booing the man. Boo! Boo!
You bitch ass nigga.
You made me late.
I gotta get out of this fucking city.
That's a pussy setup. Fuck you. Get this nigga out of here.
Oh, he like he was at the Pepsi commercial. He waving and shit. Thumbs up.
I missed. It's cool.
Yo, dog, they was booing the nigga. Like Philly, the craziest place on the planet.
Couldn't even kill yourself right, you dumbass.
Yo, you a fucking loser, dog. How you fuck up suicide? Yo, this city crazy as shit, man. I'm telling you, I can tell you the craziest bus you do. And now, my bus stories don't really pop anymore because I'm on the relaxed lines because I got time. But I'm telling you, go down to 54 to 33 if you want to. You will see some crazy ass shit. But yeah, Philly in the nutshell. You said earlier that you think Krasner sucks. What did Krasner go wrong outside of the not?
I think he's just letting people that don't need to be out on the streets, he's letting them go.
Krasner has been the DA for a while though?
Yeah, he just started his second
term. That's what I thought. Yeah. So who was the DA before him? Was it Seth? Or was it somebody in between?
It was Seth, and before him it was Lynn Abraham.
She was the
DA.
DA, right. She would get on my bus and shit. Yeah.
You said nice lady.
Cool as shit. Yeah.
She was vile in the court.
It finally hit me one day when because she got off the bus on 4th and Walnut and somebody was walking a dog and walked past like, oh, hey, Lynn. And she was like, hey. And I was like, oh, shit, that's Lynn Abraham. Damn, yeah. She looked like Leslie Nielsen from Police Squad. Yeah. But yeah, damn, Larry Krasner is in his second term. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because whenever, Steve Kill, like I said, he ain't been asleep in four or 5 days. But whenever he tweet one of the violent shows, it seemed like every mention he get from white people is Krasner and Kenny. And it's like, yo, they hate these two motherfuckers, man. Hate them. And it's like, yeah, like at the end of the day, it's almost like Carl said it best the other day. You can't really put it all on them too. Yeah. Because it's the communities falling apart. Right. It's the church leaders, the Islam leaders, the block captains, the all like it's
Bedlam.
Bedlam all around.
It's literally fucking Bedlam.
All the way around.
And Krasner has some very progressive liberal policy, like, some like California kind of like, different way of thinking for certain things that, people agree with. But, as far as like the prosecution of like violent crime, a lot of people feel like, he dropped the ball on, a lot of these different things. And it's just like, they're almost like leaning on the law too much. Like I know like simple possession of a firearm in Pennsylvania is a misdemeanor. But it's like if you discharge a firearm, then that automatically upgrades it, to a felony. But you got people that are having like instances of, discharging firearm, different things like that, and then they like getting probation.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you could get caught with a gun and just go to like boot camp.
My man got caught with a gun in his pocket on South Street. Nigga, he had like an open case for something else, so they ended up holding him in court. He got a suspended sentence and did 18 months of probation. He had the gun in his pocket on his person. He was like, it's just like.
Well, really though, you shouldn't get any time just for having a gun on you. It's not.
How do you feel about gun ownership? Because you were saying you're like a conservative.
Yeah, I feel like everybody should own a gun.
Okay.
Especially black people.
You ain't that conservative.
Especially in the city. Well, like I said, I don't prescribe to just like strictly, you know what I mean?
No, I'm the same way. I feel like everybody should have some type of weapon.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether it be the Hawk, like Raphael, like it's something.
Yeah, you gotta have something. You gotta protect yourself out here. Gotta be like
when I meet grown-ups and it just be like, I gotta get niggas be like,
that
ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna be it.
You're gonna pull a big ass gun out.
Yeah. You out there trying to punch niggas. That ain't gonna be it.
Punch a nigga to death.
Yeah, I see women still carrying mace.
Nah,
mama's
get your little revolver or something.
No, don't get no little nothing. Get you a big ass fucking gun.
That make noise.
Seriously.
You need some shit that at least at the bare minimum make a motherfucker think twice about coming towards you.
At least a 40. 40 cal, 44, 45, 357. Like, none of that little 22, 25, 30. Fuck all that shit. You need some big shit that's going to back somebody up, that's going to bark, that's going to wake up the neighbors, all that shit. Like, because motherfuckers out here and at this point, it's just, it's, like we say, it's lawlessness. Right. It's not even like, niggas is reckless, or it's just anything goes. Like, so at any given time, anywhere, we've seen shootings in recent at the hospitals. The shit don't matter. Nigga feel like he got an issue and he trying to get that shit quaking. Nigga,
it's on site.
About to turn up the bass out this motherfucker. That's what it is. So yeah, I definitely I meant to ask you that earlier. Like gun ownership. Like how do you feel? Because a lot of them don't believe in that shit.
Yeah, I feel like all gun control is racist. Like they gun control started as like some racist shit. Like they didn't want black people to have guns. Like they wanted to make it easier for the slave owners to round up black people. So yeah, I don't believe in gun control at all. I think everybody should be able to own a gun. Everybody.
Yeah, I was watching. What's the guy with all the tattoos? Be with his kids. With
Derek Grace.
Derek Grace. Yeah, I was watching a couple of his videos, and people's in the comments like, "You're a terrible father," and I just be like, "Nah, because you white, you learn how to hunt and fish and all that shit." Yeah, so I don't understand that. You got anything else you want to throw out there?
This had nothing to do with nothing. How you feel about the Ben Simmons situation with the Sixers right now?
Fuck Ben Simmons, man. Get him out of here.
Really?
I don't really like his game in the first place. Like, so,
I said on this podcast and on Twitter, him and Embiid together doesn't make sense. They don't mix. No. That doesn't. It's not a championship nucleus. And people would argue with me, it's the process, and you a hater, and why don't you just leave Philly? JT told me that. It was like, oh, you need to move from Philly. I'm like, nah, I'm just being honest. Like, them two together is not a championship nucleus. It's just not what it is. Not Embiid going out 40 feet from the fucking post shooting and Ben Simmons not shooting. It's just not going to work.
Nah.
You got a defensive-minded first point guard that's going to pass the fucking rock. Like a LeBron James. The thing with LeBron is that what finally made LeBron that guy was he got with real shooters and real slashing scorers. People can hate on Chris Bosh all they want. That nigga was a low post presence. Dwayne Wade was a slasher. That shit made them a championship nucleus. Then LeBron left, and everywhere he's gone, he's rebuilt that with him at the eye of the storm. But if you're going to be a defensive first point guard who's going to facilitate, you need scorers. You need niggas who are going to get buckets, like Jimmy Butler. And Embiid said that shit. We got rid of Jimmy Butler. We fucked up. I knew it when that shit happened. Like, why the fuck y'all get rid of the best player on your fucking team? Like, that don't even make sense.
Jimmy said he got called into a meeting about all of the discrepancies with the offense and nothing got solved. He said, I'm fucking out of here. He said, I knew from that meeting, I'm out of here.
So it's like, I never thought they were that good together to begin with. I ain't gonna hold you. I like Ben Simmons, the stance he's on. Y'all on some bullshit with me. And really the whole thing was once Doc did that post-game shit. Like, once Doc did
that's the stance. As a player, he got to take that stance because he knows the fans don't want him here for one. So it's like, why would I play myself and be like, I want to be back in Philly? Like, no, nigga, you're going to get booed out of the building if you come back to Philly. Like,
I knew the Sixers was doomed. When I saw Brett Brown in recess with an off-white jacket on, that's pretty much like when I knew they have no chance.
Oh, the coach.
The coach, he was with Embiid. And when I saw that, he was kicking it. It was in recess. They just lost a road game. They just flew in the city, drop us off at recess.
No, we ain't going home.
No, we ain't going home.
No, we ain't going home.
I said, they're never going to win shit.
I'm not mad at Ben for the tip he's on. He's made his decision. He's drawing his line in the sand. Y'all deal with the shit. They like, well, we putting $8 million in escrow. He's like, newsflash, I don't need that $8 million. Fuck
already
y'all.
Got the last $8 million. From August 1st.
I already got the other $8 million y'all gave me before. I don't give a fuck about that.
Only thing though, as a fan of the Sixers though, it just makes it tough because, I mean, it's just he's fucking up his trade value. Just with that type of
That's what I said.
attitude.
I'm like, everybody else can see this. So they're like, yo, we ain't giving y'all no fucking value. We know he out of there.
We don't give you motherfucking Covington.
Y'all want Sarge back?
You get Covington and 2 picks.
Bro.
Second round picks.
Y'all want JJ Redick? He retired. Oh, all right. Well,
y'all want JJ Redick podcast? We'll trade you JJ Redick podcast and 2 picks for bid.
Real shit. But it's crazy because I don't see him getting traded. Like, that's the wild part.
Yo, I was watching whatever the new version of The Jump is. I was watching that the other day on YouTube, and Woj and what's LeBron man, the reporter?
Oh, the big white boy, Windhurst.
Wendy was both saying like, no matter how many fines the Sixers hit him with, no matter how much money they withhold, he won't lose $1 because whether he comes back to the Sixers or if he gets traded, his condition to coming back will be, y'all have to reimburse me all of the money that I lost. So it's just a symbolic gesture. It's like a performative measure just to say, oh, look, we held his money, blah, blah. He's not going to miss $1 of the $33 million that he's owed this year. And he might have a trade kicker in contract. He might have a 15% trade kicker. She might end up making more money.
Shout out to Rich Paul, man. Shit, he getting everybody paid.
Dog, they hate him. You saw somebody they hate
everybody
Rich
paid
Paul.
though.
Real shit.
Just think about the wherewithal of Rich Paul to just be like, in awareness, just to be like, break this $33 million up into 4 $8.25 million payments. Yeah, we pay every week. No, fuck that. I want my players to be made whole. Y'all got the money, pay them 4 times.
Yeah,
that shit is crazy.
Wow, but I got nothing else.
Man. We appreciate you. We definitely gotta have you come back up, man.
Appreciate y'all having me. Sure.
Give all the people your information, where they can find you at on social media, where they can tap in with you.
Twitter at Cure Hip Hop, Instagram at Cure Hip Hop. That's it.
And that's that on that. Once again, episode 171. We didn't say it in the beginning because we never fucking do.
You said
subscribe to the Patreon.
Oh, yeah, we didn't say that. No.
Subscribe to the Patreon. Follow us on our website, officialtrpe.com. Patreon is patreon.com/officialtrpe. It is the 4th of the month, so go ahead and get your Patreon subscriptions. Get access to all of the new episodes, all of the back catalog. Make sure you go to the website, buy some merch. We got tons of new merch on there. Shout out to everybody that already been buying 4, 5, 8 pieces of merch. We appreciate y'all. We out of here. Peace.